Hello and welcome back to Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your sexy ranch hand co-host, Kalder and Simeon. This episode we're going to be talking about the final news article about the rules changes in the upcoming Spider-Man Beyond Amazing set and answer some listener questions. This is episode 452. Howdy, howdy, let's get rowdy.
So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional...
Heroclix?
No.
Are you serious? Again? How many people even play this game? Like 100?
Instant deadpan humor.
Over 6 people think I am funny.
It's a hard day's work. Not that you know anything about that. Which...
Absolute fools, it's not
Witcher nonsense.
I'm gonna make Heroclix like that forever. Are you kidding me?
Hey Google, attack someone.
Let's attack Simeon, because he's a jerk.
Wow, wow, wow.
Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Make sure you check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. Use code DIAL5, that's DIAL5, for 5% off your Cool Stuff Inc. order. Like always, in the studio is Simeon Bruce. What's going on, Simeon?
Hey, it's almost President's Day. You know
You're
what
right.
that means?
You're right. It is almost President's Day.
Yeah, there's no
You gonna do
holiday
something
I
nice
celebrate
for the
harder
president
than President's Day. Yeah, I send a nice package
You got a
to their
plan?
doorstep. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I save up all my chocolates and all the discount candies to send to them on President's Day.
It's a stressful job.
Yeah,
He needs
you
that.
You deserve pina colada, strawberry, and cherry flavored jelly beans. Like you do. Yeah, they were discounted.
None of that was chocolate.
They were only 75% off, and 90% of the bag is pina colada. But
Good thing he's married to a doctor, because that sounds horrible. Sounds. Oh, geez.
there was a year where we hit up like the Walgreens just at the right moment where all the good candy was gone.
Oh,
So the only thing left was like 20-cent
the
bags
gimmick candy.
of pina colada and like whatever other flavor jelly beans. And so like
Jeez.
for the rest of that year, from like February to December, for the rest of that year, anytime I was like, ooh, I'm craving some candy, what we got, parents? They were like, here's a bag of jelly beans from Valentine's Day. And
I don't know if I've ever been like, man, some jelly beans would really hit the spot right now.
Nope.
I don't think I've ever.
since then, never once have I thought jelly beans would hit the spot. Although our jelly bean cookies are famous,
What?
county-wide.
What?
Yeah, the
You
big
baked
county.
those into cookies and gave them to families
No, not
in
those.
your area?
Not
Okay.
those. You have to use the spiced jelly beans.
Oh,
Bake them into a
I'm
sugar
intrigued.
cookie. And then you use artificial flavoring, and you sectional off like the cookies. So it's like this section of cookie, like this little quarter of cookie, tastes like root beer. This section of cookie tastes like,
You're
I don't know.
blowing my mind right now.
Yeah, like
What
my
is
sister
this
still
dessert?
does it. She lives in Omaha. Maybe she'll
Oh, okay. I was like,
maybe
I
she'll
was gonna
make
ask if it was the one that
a
moved
set
back.
of jelly bean cookies, and I'll let you experience them. But yeah, it's
I'm-
like a Neapolitan cookie, except instead of Neapolitan, it's rainbow flavor. So like there's a lime, a cherry, whatever.
You gotta be careful with your bites. You don't want to
Yeah.
be mixing too many.
My dad wants like the licorice, like half, and I'm like, if you put licorice in my cookie, I will burn this house
Yeah.
down.
Does he want the black licorice?
Yeah,
half? Yeah,
like,
of course he
ugh.
does. Oh man, the nasty black licorice.
Anise flavored.
That stuff
cookie.
literally will kill you, man.
Oh, I hope so.
It,
It tastes like it.
It actually does. Some dude had like, I don't know. There's a news story a while ago. We're way off topic already, but like he was found dead in his like apartment or flat or whatever. He was British. Overdosed on black
Twizzlers.
licorice. Yeah, dude. There's whatever in black licorice. You'd
That's
have
why
like a
this
certain
podcast
amount.
is proudly a Red Vine podcast.
Yeah. Oh, geez. I don't think I've ever even had red vines, dude.
Oh.
I see them in that big old tub, though.
I
I normally just get Twizzlers. If I've ever had like a licorice,
Man.
I guess.
like the
I'm a
pull and peel
basic
Twizzlers
person.
are fine by me.
Those are
'cause
pretty
that's
good.
the strawberry flavor.
Yeah.
I'm not down with the cherry flavor for whatever reason. Red Vine is not a flavor that comes naturally. Obviously, it's like,
No.
what if there was a soft, thin rubber tire that you could take little bites of, and it would almost remind you of a fruit that doesn't exist.
A hint of fruit.
And you're like, yum, 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 yum. That was almost food. Look, I don't know how to describe Red
It
Vine.
was barely a snack
Like-
and almost food.
This almost reminds me of a thing that I could eat and it could sustain me, but it is not, alas. That's what red vines remind me of. It's like that water that just has like almost a hint of fruit, and you're like, it's like sparkling water that's like so close to being flavored.
So LaCroix.
Kind
Talking
of.
about LaCroix.
Like Diet LaCroix, if they
Oh,
make such
gosh.
a thing. Because it's like,
Could it get more tasteless?
What is there? Is there a flavor here? Or is my brain just like, it's red, so it tastes like red?
Ooh, that is true.
Yeah.
Your brain will connect colors and stuff like that. I can't remember if this food diatribe spawned from me asking you what made you happy this week, or if we just got on this. I can't.
I said it was almost President's Day, and then I went into
into the food. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay.
I went into jelly beans.
Yeah. Man, it's got to be a new Dial H speedrun record where we almost instantly just talked about food for 7.5 minutes ish.
I'll tell you what doesn't make me happy this week, Calder.
What's that?
That restaurant that made Budino.
Closed?
They went out of business.
Oh!
Yeah.
I never even got to try any. That sucks.
$8
Wow.
$8 single serving Budino is no more. I'm sure there's more Budino out there in the world. But yeah, the butterscotch pudding of Omaha is no more for me.
That is so sad.
It is very sad.
That actually
when I found that out, I
sucks.
was like, man, it was. I mean, despite the dessert, the food itself was actually really good. I couldn't afford it unless it was given to me for free. But, that happened once a year, so I was looking forward to it. But yeah, they were out of business, so that doesn't make me happy. But what does make me happy is it is Thursday, and I didn't work at all today.
Yeah.
And I won't work at all tomorrow or the next day or the next day. And then Monday I will have to work. But the Monday after that, President's Day, I don't have to work.
Let's go. Let's go.
So yeah, I've got a, 4-day weekend. And then next week, I will have a 4-day weekend.
4-day weekend.
So
yeah.
I'm 4-daying it up. That's
Dude,
what's
that's
making me
awesome.
happy. Got some 3D prints cooking right now. Got
Look at
generic
go.
blocking squares with printed stuff on them. And then I've got 2 of the shipping containers. And how you can get those, I'll tell you more about those.
Secret.
Patron Tyler already got the STL file from me.
Oh,
so
nice.
he's making his own. He's
Nice.
got a resin printer instead. So we'll see how his turn out compared to mine.
Ooh.
Obviously, his can do better quality.
Be
'cause
very
it's-
smooth, right?
Yeah, it's a resin printer, so his can do better quality. But yeah, like we'll see. I'm interested.
Okay.
But yeah, those will be available.
They were pretty fun. We played a game today and with them.
Yeah.
And that'll be coming up here soon, next week or so. So yeah, I like them. I like them a lot. I think they're sweet.
I think once they get painted, especially, they'll be.
Oh, they're gonna pop.
They're a little plain Jane right now, being just plain white.
White, yeah.
But smacking your opponent with. Ooh,
It's pretty funny.
I should do like some funny thing, so like when you hit your opponent with it, it's like "Sup Mac" or something. I don't know. Some text on the side that's
sure. I was like, "Sub Mac." How does this
like
translate? What are you talking about?
You pick it up,
yeah.
you put it on the map, and they don't see anything, and then you flip it over after you pick it up, and it's like, "Remember ultra heavies." I don't know.
That'd be a cool little Easter egg.
Yeah,
That's
something.
funny.
Put fear in them.
Jeez. Okay. Well, yeah. Awesome. 4-day weekend is an awesome thing to be excited about, and it's a great time. Made me happy this week. I went down. I visited my sister, and we just had a grand old time. We saw critically acclaimed movie Puss in Boots, which I already ranted to Simeon a little bit about it earlier. If you haven't seen Puss in Boots already, just go see it. Maybe that's your Valentine's Day date, your President's Day date, whatever it might be.
Take your president to it.
Or, yeah, dude, please. I would love to see that. It'd be so funny.
Joe Biden live tweeting Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots?
Yeah.
The cat lost his boots. No. What does this mean?
First
I don't want
thought
to spoil
is,
the movie. But just
why
like,
is this cat talking?
why is this cat talking?
And why aren't all cats talking?
Yeah.
We
Where's
need
the
to fix this
gobbledygoo
situation.
and all that and whatever?
Who's this horse-faced pony boy?
What it? Oh, jeez. Oh man. All right. But yeah, no, seriously, go see Puss in Boots. It has maybe one of the best cartoon villains of all time. Big Jack Horner's hilarious. Death is hilarious. These villains are great. The opening musical number has already been added to one of my playlists. It's just, it goes hard. It's great. I mean, I think it's a great movie for
Pixar, right?
kids, adults. It's no DreamWorks.
DreamWorks.
Because
That's right.
Puss in Boots, Shrek, all
right.
that.
DreamWorks.
Yeah. There's also, man, if you're a Shrek fan, you're really gonna like the opening of the movie too. They do a new DreamWorks opening that has like a lot of their movies and stuff, and like Shrek is like there, and he like waves at you.
How does Puss in Boots rank amongst the Shrek movies?
Honestly, so I really like 2. 2 is my favorite Shrek movie.
That's
So
fair.
for me, it goes 2, the best. Shrek 1, second best. Honestly, this new Puss in Boots is like the third best Shrek movie.
Yeah.
Because I do like 3. I put 3 above 4, so then it'd be number 3. Then it would be 4, because 4 is just worst garbage. I hate Shrek 4 is so bad. Rumpelstiltskin and all this dumb stuff.
Is
I
2
can't.
the one where Shrek turns into a human?
Yes.
Okay.
2 is the one where we first get introduced to Puss in Boots and
I do
turns into a
get
human.
do like that one because like the pepper spray.
Yeah.
The pepper spray
That's a good
scene
bit.
with like the cops, like their version of cops.
Yep. The knights.
Yeah.
The whole thing with the attack on the castle.
Yeah.
I need a hero. We see the big gingerbread like
Yeah.
crashing. Yeah, I love that whole scene. Is just so awesome. Like Shrek 2 is but obviously Shrek 1 goated. But yeah, Shrek 2, and then I would say the first Puss in Boots movie is better than Shrek 4. But I didn't like the first Puss in Boots that much. I didn't like Humpty Dumpty as a villain character.
So I never saw the first one, but it seemed like it like came and went without any fanfare.
Yeah. It wasn't.
This one
anything
I've
special.
And maybe it's like social media, but this one I've seen a lot of people talking about online. Like it's
nonstop memes
been
and
popping
people
off,
talking
yeah.
about it. Yeah. So, yep, I'm one of the masses on this one. Not an original opinion here. Just go see Puss in Boots.
I mean, yeah.
Become one of us. Go watch it. It's great. No, the voice work is great. I was very surprised about who voiced who when I watched the end credits. I know I already told you who like one of the voice actors was, but I bet there's a certain one that you might not be able to guess, and you'll be like, oh, equally shocked if you see it at the end. So I was like, oh, I was caught off guard. So yeah, Puss in Boots was awesome. Hung out. We also went and got crumble cookies afterwards. Yeah, those are pretty tasty. They had one where it sent me back to my childhood. It was those frosted animal crackers. Do you remember buying bags of those and stuff? That as a cookie. And I was like, dang, this is good. This is really good. So, yeah, that's what made me happy this week. Hanging out with my family, watching Puss in Boots, eating cookies. Yeah, it was good stuff.
Awesome.
But all right, time to get into what I'm sure made all of you Heroclix players happy this week.
Super
and there's
happy.
no controversial opinions whatsoever about this topic, the news. This last week, they posted the 4th and final rules update that'll be coming with the Spider-Man Beyond Amazing set, as well as giving us some cool previews, which we'll get into after the article. But, Simeon, you want to break down the rules article number 4 for comprehensive rules and miscellaneous changes.
Yeah,
Ooh-ah.
so we
miscellaneous.
can't go like super in depth because we're not
Yeah.
going to read the comprehensive rules.
That's a lot of stuff.
But we will just glance over this article real quick. By real quick, I mean I'm going to read the whole thing. So, greetings, Heroclix Masterminds, comprehensive rules and miscellaneous changes. So, welcome to the final article on the 2023 rules update. If you haven't read previous articles, you can find them here. There's 3 of them. Go to the 4th one to get links to all of the other ones. That's the order that you should definitely do it. For this final article, we'll be sharing the new comprehensive rules. So, obviously, this is going to be the biggest, most comprehensive change because it's got the comprehensive rules, and going through some other tweaks we made to the game. How fun are tweaks? Everyone loves a good tweak.
I'm always tweaking.
Yep.
Yeah.
No one, tweak is definitely never a bad term.
No.
So good thing they made it several. If you're excited to dive into the new rules yourself, you can find the new comprehensive rules here on that link, which you definitely should do. I've been going through it, giving myself a little headache trying to find certain stuff.
It's a lot to read.
But yeah, just FYI, I can't find anything about if a piece of terrain is destroyed, where debris is placed, or if debris is placed. So like if I destroy that 2x3 shipping crate, is debris placed in every square? If I hit someone with it, is debris placed? I can't find anything on that, so maybe I'm just bad at reading, but I don't think it's in there. Before we get into the rules, though, we have something cool to show you. Hang on, I gotta scroll a while because I don't see it. Oh, just kidding. It's Spider-Gwen. So this is Gwen Stacy. Spider-Gwen number 007 from the Spider-Man, what is this set called?
Beyond Amazing.
Beyond Amazing,
Yeah.
of course. So she has a trait that is Wall Crawler.
Oh, we're going to talk about the dial. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we might as well.
Might as well.
She's a common. She's got Leap Climb. Free, place this character in a square different elevation within 4 squares and line of fire, which, spoiler alert, is what I think Leap Climb should just become. Like, I think Leap
Give it 2
Climb
years.
should just be, the improved movement stuff, and then free if this character is on a square of different elevation within 4 squares, and like place it on a different square within 4 square. I think if you're on the rim, like lower rim, upper rim, whatever,
rim. Yeah.
I think free
Oh,
place.
yeah, I think that'd work. That'd be cool. That feels like a big leap.
Speed power. So it's a fairly simple dial. Full dial of in-cap, 4 range, 2 lightning bolts, full dial of willpower, full dial of this special speed power, and then 2 clicks of outwit top dial, and 3 clicks of range combat expert on the bottom dial, 50-point line. Some things you might notice about this, I'll get into after I read this speed power. So 4 range, 2 lightning bolts, sidestep. When Spider-Gwen is given a move action after resolutions, you may give an action token to an opposing character she moved through during that action. So that's not like a thing you can do with sidestep. She does have improved movement through opposing characters or through characters. But if you want to make an attack, you won't be able to do that in tandem with this, sadly. Not unless you... No. There's just no way to do that. So yeah, she can be free placed, which also isn't moving through somebody. You have to, like power action, leap climb to give somebody that action token. Still kind of cool. The big thing that you might notice about this character, though, is she has the Spider-Man team ability, and that is now super senses, but only succeeds on a 6. It's Wonder Woman. It's Wonder Woman. If this character can already use super senses, instead increase the result of its roll by +1. So it's just the Wonder Woman team ability. This was something, as soon as Wonder Woman was revealed, I think a lot of people were like, this makes more sense for Spider-Man. And now they're no longer wild cards. They now have super senses on a 6. And if they already have it, they increase their super sense roll by +1. Makes some Spider-Mans really, really hard to hit.
Really hard to hit.
Like that
PS4 Spidey.
War of the Realms
impossible to
one.
hit. Yeah, War of the Realms.
There's several that are just like a super senses on anything but a 1 or a 2.
Yeah.
Or maybe even just like
a 1 always fails at least.
Yeah.
But that's rough chances.
That's Spider-Gwen.
Anything else that we might notice about this card that seems different?
So
Simeon?
something we might notice about this card is that the entire card is different from previous designs. So that's a big thing. They've got the dial on the front of the card. That's pretty big. They've got a huge picture of the sculpt on the front of the card, which is pretty interesting. Something that you may come to love or hate, and I won't dictate what your opinion should be, is flavor text is gone from powers.
Yeah.
Except the special powers. So traits and special powers still have flavor text, but incapacitate is just incapacitate on this card. Willpower is just willpower. Outwit is just outwit. And range combat expert is just range combat expert. So
it's a bit of a bummer. There was, let's be real though.
Give flavor.
A lot of the time, people didn't look at the flavor text for powers. There's a handful out there where I've been like, why does this character have precision strike? What's their excuse for that? And then the flavor text would be like, oh, that makes sense. Sure.
Some of them felt phoned in sometimes too.
Right.
It'd be like,
some were like,
they have toughness, and it'd be like,
body
I'm
armor.
tough. Yeah.
Or just some
leather
generic
jacket.
Oh,
something
God.
like that.
That was the worst one. When toughness is a leather jacket, I'm just like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
What? I can reduce damage by 1 right now, I guess. So there was some times for flavor text. I think it's just more often than not overlooked. People don't really notice it that often. There's goated flavor text like that Hulk that just came out, where it's like, oh man, if we used flavor text like this, then it's my favorite thing in the game. Yeah, because that was awesome. I loved that.
Obviously, like the Mark Hamill on like the Batman.
Right, that was really cool too.
Not the Batman, the Joker.
But
Kevin
Mark
Conroy
on Batman,
Kevin Conroy on Joker.
Those are both
the
awesome.
reverse of what I just said. Yeah.
Jeez.
Batman and Joker.
And a lot of it can be used to describe like why a character is doing that or whatnot. I remember there's Captain America that had energy explosion. I was like, what? Why on earth would he have energy explosion? It's like, oh, it says grenade. It's World War II Captain America. It makes more sense. One was like bouncing the shield off multiple targets, and I was like, that's an interesting way to say it's energy explosion. So it's a bummer. It's really sad to see it go. Yeah, but I think it'll maybe be easier.
Miss them from like the X-Men robots for sure.
Oh yeah, all the arcade voice lines. Yeah,
the Black
that
King
was
welcomes
cool.
you to die.
Welcomes you to die.
Magneto was like, welcome X-Chicken.
Yeah, X-Chicken.
Or whatever it was. All those.
Obviously, I'd be remiss to not mention, what's his face? Not Deathstroke. Gosh.
Deadpool?
No, who's the guy who's a 3/5 in Marvel Snap and he blows people up?
That is not Deathstrike. That is Deathlock.
Deathlock, yeah. He has and then I started blasting. Yeah. So that was a really cool one. So like any cool like powers like that, I am gonna miss. But overall, it's not the worst thing in the world that we could be doing. If it's makes whatever easier, I guess. Card formatting.
They still have like the significant appearance, like what this character's based off of.
I like that a lot.
They still have like the real name. They still have all that stuff listed. So yeah, hopefully, I mean, at the very least, if you're like interested in like, why is this character able to do this? Like you'll look up the significant appearance that's listed and be like,
I see what they're going for.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hercules became a 1,200-foot tall demigod.
Oh, there it is.
Or no, not demigod. Super god. He was the god of gods. Chaos War.
Super god.
Number 1. Interesting. No, cool.
But yeah, dials on the front. The team ability is now by the name of the character.
Yep.
There is still a little dial window that shows the set rarity and the set number. Yeah. And then the sculpt is about half the size of the card. On this figure anyways, takes up half the space of the card, I should say. The sculpt, they just have an image of the sculpt.
And
they have a faded
very corner of it.
They have a faded image on the back, and that's probably my least favorite thing about this. I love Heroclix sculpts, but we have the real version to look at.
I want the back to have the
comic book issue cover. Yeah.
The comic
that's
cover. I mean, not all of them did it, but the ones that did, I mean, even if it's not like super pertinent to like the character that like they're representing, it was just cool to see comic art, because I don't pick up every single issue of everything. I don't see every issue of everything, but yeah, it was always cool to be like, oh, that's like a weird, like what's that one about, like that kind of thing.
Honestly, I still miss the little mini Wikipedia article they used to have for a character, the
little bio.
That was so awesome. I liked that bio a lot. That was years ago. The listeners are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's been literally 10 plus years since that's been a thing.
That's pre-Silver Age kind of thing.
Yeah, really cool pre-Silver Age stuff. So yeah, my biggest thing is I don't want to see. So now if we keep all the important information on the front, but then there's still going to be like the team ability, maybe some bleed over special powers on the back, I guess, from now on. I would prefer, I guess, the sculpt be the big image on the back, and that way we keep all of the special powers, the team abilities, all the information I need. Because if the dial's on the front, we might as well have all the dial, like all the information for a game.
Traits and special powers.
Traits, special powers.
This one has a fairly long trait and a fairly long special power.
Right.
And like she's a common, so you can imagine a super rare will be like filling the front and the entire back. Yeah.
And then a super rare is going to have a bigger, cooler sculpt, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Might take up more space. Might take up the same. They might, change it. Who knows? They can do that. But yeah. So overall on the card, the dial on the front is fine because that's been public knowledge for 3-4 years now. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Being able to view your opponent's dials. Yeah. So having them on the front is...
No flipping around. Yeah. I would just wish, because I do like to use sleeves that have cool backs, I do just wish all important information was on the front, and that if I could just kind of live without seeing the sculpt or the special appearance during the game, I could keep my cool sleeves on my characters. But yeah, the card's interesting. It also gets rid of a lot of black that used to be there. It has predominantly, like they have the little black bar that used to be for the name, and then a little mini black bar on the bottom. This is a darker card. Yeah. That card, instead of a black bar for the name is now in black text, and then it's white, kind of weird, like bar thing. So it's really interesting, because the old cards used to be white, and then they'd have that corner that would be the red, yellow, blue, because that was with if they were a whatever it's called, the REV system,
Right.
you know, like they were still using it back then. So those old cards, when I have them stacked together, they look like a kind of a funny rainbow. These cards look like they're all black on top, and now these ones will be all like white on top, black on the bottom.
Yeah. The one good thing about
Adds a distinction between the
This'll-
cards, which is neat.
they have like the rarity in like the
Oh,
corner
that's right. That'll be
bleeds
good to
into
sort
the
by.
corner.
Yeah.
So rather than having like that black border, if you can see the
Yeah, I
edge,
like
you
that.
can see the
The
color.
rarity.
The
That's
rarity.
cool. I do like that. I do about that.
Yeah. I mean, you'll have to look at this article to really see
Right.
what all we're talking about. But yeah, as far as like the sculpt of this figure, she's doing a little web pose, little like
Thwip.
action thwip. Yeah. So they go on. So the article begins. Whatever.
The article
Beginning with Marvel HeroClix Spider-Man Beyond Amazing, we will unveil a new format of character cards. Character dials are moving to the front of the cards for easier reference, and the character sculpt is on full display. Improved ability symbols are being moved to just above the dial, so also on the front of the card, just above the dial, underneath the special powers, making them easier to read at a glance. We're saddened to announce that we are discontinuing flavor text for standard powers, but it was a necessary cut. Was it? The space we saved by doing so allowed us to make the more visually appealing cards, and it makes the cards an easier reference to use for new players and veterans alike. All right, so the design team says they retooled the Spider-Man team ability. We just talked about that. They says, while we can't wait to see what strategies players will use for that new TA, that's the smallest of the changes we will go over.
I will say, they do say, as with Minions of Doom, we're continuing to replace wildcard team abilities, so Calculator is not safe, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Maybe invest in some Calculator pieces if they get a big boost, you know? You never know. So
Yeah.
I think that's our
Calculator,
last wildcard. That's
outsider?
not
I
team
don't know.
player, right?
like other than like indie sets, yeah.
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 I think it's Calculator. Okay, yeah, interesting. That's the last wild card left, so we'll see what they might do with it.
Yeah. Guess who's back again? Somebody really liked
Who's there?
early 2001 music.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Uh,
You're right, though. You're right.
Similarly, another long-requested fix is the reintroduction of knockback damage. Knockback damage has been removed from the game since the 2021 rules update to help streamline the game, but fans have clamored for its return.
We kind of do be clamoring, though.
Yeah, bunch of clamors.
Yep.
With the expanded focus on terrain in this update, it only made sense for it to return to the game going forward if a character's knockback path ends because of the next square is blocking a map edge, a higher elevation, or because that character fell to a lower elevation, they are dealt 1 damage. The same applies to a character that's occupying an elevated marker that's either destroyed or picked up from under their feet.
Okay, so 1 damage
Yeah.
across the board. Pretty
Easy.
easy peasy.
Yeah, simple, effective. Obviously, I think like the best use of this has always been like pulse wave force blast combo.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of characters get that, but you know, if they do, pretty cool. They continue after you. The change our most competitive fans will be happiest to hear is our rewrite of Rule 8.1H. The active player no longer has control over the order of simultaneous triggers resolve in. Rather, the active player orders and resolves only their own effects. Then, their opponent orders and resolves their effects. If any new effects are triggered while the existing simultaneous triggers are being resolved, players simply take turn resolving everything they control, then letting the other player resolve everything they can until nothing is left resolving. Each player will always get to control how their own effects resolve. For games with more than 2 players, resolutions happen in turn order.
Okay.
For games with 1 player, who knows what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually one of my favorite changes because for too long it's been like, I won map, and now I can control the way that you do your beginning of game effects.
Right. Swapping
yeah.
characters, equipment, this or that, all sorts
Right.
of stuff. Yeah.
This effectively, like, just it does leave some weird loopholes open.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think it's like majority for like good. I don't think there's too many bad things that happen from this. Yeah.
I prefer this. That way there's no how can I mess up, screw over my opponent.
Yeah.
We get rid of that not very cool way to play the game, and I think this is a lot better.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, we all got to do our stuff. Isn't that great? I think it's great. I got to play my team the way it was built. Awesome.
Yeah. I get a super sense then mastermind now. Like I don't have to worry about my opponent being like, oh
yeah,
I want you to
too.
choose mastermind first, and then I'll let you roll super senses if you don't.
No, it's like,
yeah,
geez.
that doesn't happen anymore. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. The old wording was timing of multiple trigger effects. If multiple triggered effects would resolve at the same time, the active player chooses in which order they resolve. The new wording is quite a bit longer.
Somehow long.
Yeah.
Well, it's longer because it had to be more in-depth and
Yeah.
comprehensive.
Timing of multiple triggered effects. If multiple triggered effects would resolve at the same time, the active player's effect must resolve first. To do so, if any simultaneous effects resolve immediately, the active resolves any such effects of theirs in the order of their choice. Then their opponent resolves their immediately effects in the order of their choice. Then repeat that process for any simultaneous effects that don't resolve immediately until all simultaneously resolving effects have resolved. If either player has any effects trigger while their opponent is resolving effects, they must wait for that opponent to finish resolving effects before they can resolve those new effects. So basically, it's active player goes first. Anything that has priority, but active player goes first. And then anything that still has priority, which is the non-active player, would go second. Anything that's medium priority goes to like the active player again. I can't imagine a situation where you would hit all of these, but I'm sure it exists.
Oh, man,
I just don't like it.
Give them a month, you know?
Yeah.
Like, probably someone will have this figured out somehow.
Something,
the exact scenario. We already figured out how Sakari and Iron Man could Battle Fury throw a terrain at somebody.
Yeah, running shot, throw terrain with Battle Fury. Someone did say because the way that this is worded, if you had Steel Energy and hit somebody with Mystics, you would have to take the Mystics.
Yeah.
Or you would have to heal from the Steel Energy first, which if you're on click 1, like does nothing, and then you would take damage from the Mystic.
I guess it would be your effect resolving before their effect. Ooh, man.
So you would have to heal first, which would mean that you can't stay top dial if hitting somebody with Mystics with Steel Energy, which is like a wonky, like almost no characters have this kind of thing, but there are a few out there that have that. Yeah.
There's no I in themed team. That's true, though. We've made 2 big changes to theme teams. Firstly, the initiative bonus has been standardized. While 2021 update did a lot to curb the dominance of larger theme teams, it was clumsy to explain in practice. This update, all theme teams will receive a +3 bonus to the roll to determine first player, regardless of how many characters they have. So, 30 people, +3. You got one guy, +3. Very easy.
Got a, 300-point Hulk and a bystander. That's a +3 theme team.
Yep.
You have just that Hulk, +3 theme team.
No, it was clunky to explain it, because I know I explained it to a lot of people. I've been like, well, you see, you get a maximum of +3. So you take my plus and your plus, and we figure out, do you have 3 more than me? Nope, you only have 2 more than me. And so it was a little weird to explain. So they are right. This does make that a lot easier. The second part is a little rough. Secondly, we are eliminating theme team probability control. We know this has been a long-standing and beloved part of team building, so we did not do this lightly. Testing and tournament data reliably showed that the majority of TTPC uses were during the initial attack of the game. In an attempt to either secure an early lead or prevent the opponent's TTTP enhanced attack from landing, this meant that theme team prob in practice overly advantaged aggressive Alpha Strike strategies. So, to disadvantage Alpha Strike strategies and promote creative, slow burn teams and preserve the overall health of the game, we made the difficult choice to cut theme team probability control. There's a lot to unpack there, honestly.
I'm going to wait because we've only got a few paragraphs left.
Okay.
This will be the...
might be maybe the bulk of discussion.
This is like the crux of what I want to talk about with this article. Overall, so they're getting rid of theme team probs. Any theme, rather, doesn't matter if it's named, generic, whatever. Doesn't matter if, like Calder said, if you have 30 or 1. If it's a theme team, you have a +3 for initiative now. And you don't have theme team probs. So, there's literally no difference between, there wasn't before, but there's no difference between an Avenger or 12 Assassins or,
Right, yeah.
12 Avengers or an Assassin. Like there's hardly any difference. Hardly any, like not enough to like be worth it for an unthemed team and a themed team anymore. The +3 is like, sure, that statistically will win map most of the time, but second player gets to pick map. So, or like if it's deferred, then the winner of the roll gets to pick map, and second quote unquote loser of like the roll gets to pick side, that kind of thing, and go first. So, yeah, we'll get back to this. So, toe the sideline. It's not the right use of toe the line.
Yeah, that was
pretty sure it's TOW.
TOW. That's what I thought it was. Not like
you toe
the toe on your
like
feet.
You toe the line, like the rope. I don't know. Maybe it's the toe on your feet. We also took some time to re-examine the sideline in Heroclix. Over the past few years, it's become a more important part of team building. So we felt it was due some careful consideration. With this rules update, the size of the sideline is being cut to 2 game elements per 100 points of the force build, or 6 elements for a 300-point team. It used to be 3 game elements per 100, and I think a max of 15. So like
there used to be that
500
like max in bigger games. Yeah,
almost never came up, but yeah. So 6 elements max for a 300-point team instead of the 9 that it used to be. Shrinking the sideline makes the choice of what elements to use are more meaningful, especially on more sideline active effects come out. We've also eliminated the rule that all sideline elements need a reason to be sidelined and can only be referenced for that reason. This was a necessary rules in the days when dials on cards could not be seen by opponents, but it's since become largely irrelevant, causing more rules questions than it solves. While some characters may receive a slight increase in effectiveness, we don't foresee any major balance issues from removing this rule. I can't wait to run a team just like filled with non-sideline active characters.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna run like I don't know, like all the danger room robots on my sideline, but have no way to do anything with
nothing.
them. Yeah,
they just look really cool. I want them to hang out with.
They're
me.
like, oh, are you doing like a master mold build? And be like, no, mystical. I just like the colors.
I just like it.
Yeah.
Part of me does like it for that reason, that I can just carry around whatever figures I want.
Yeah.
Locally, it was no problem, but like in tournaments, I know some people used to have like their good luck figures, and it's like, oh, you can't do that. Can't do that, But now it's like, and who's to say I can't, buddy?
Yeah. Just have Galactus there, but not assigned to anybody. Yeah, he's just sidelined.
He's sidelined.
No, he's
sidelined.
He's not effective. I didn't pay for him. He's just sidelined.
He's just sidelined.
He might come in somehow. I don't know.
Oh.
I haven't played every game possible. Who knows? Maybe we'll run across the loophole.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is really funny. And I mean, also, it's just so nice for characters that could work for both things, whether it's like a super friend that also has an ID card or, something random.
Yeah.
There's a handful of things where it's like, oh, man, I really wish I could have this character for...
You had to specify it for... Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, it is going to be. I mean, it's simpler if there's an effect that you think you should have this figure on the sideline for. Obviously, hopefully, there's a reason that it works, but like you don't need to point to the reason in like the book as to why it works.
Right.
Yeah.
Cross the red line. Lastly, we saved some terrain news. Whoa, even more terrain news in this article? What in the world? With the growing focus on placeable terrain, we took steps to ensure that no team could be locked out of play on the map. Going forward, all characters can move across a red elevation line, not just flyers or other characters with improved movement. Elevated, if they do so without using transition square or improved movement, their movement stops immediately. So this is kind of how old hindering and water used to work, where if you entered hindering or you entered water, your movement would just instantly stop. But now it's buffed to where the fact that you can just jump onto the side of a ledge of elevated and then your movement will stop. So that's really huge. Also, we're adding a rule that during setup, terrain markers cannot be placed on printed transition squares to keep players from locking off sections of the map. On some maps, you might even see transition squares that don't denote stairs or ladders, but doorways between areas of the same elevation. Because these same elevation transition squares don't cross an elevation line, they won't affect movement anyway, but they will note spots that can't be blocked during game setup. So this is big. This is important. You're not going to use your 3 pieces of whatever special terrain to totally block off your opponent.
Yeah, you won't get like a map banned before it ever comes out, like Titan's Tower.
Jeez.
Thank you, playtester, who did that.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, glad
ruined
maps.
everything.
You know,
I hate
we
you.
finally got to the point where like that won't happen again. It took
Pretty
us,
cool.
you know, however many years since
4.
Rebirth. Yeah,
Four-ish,
about 4-ish
3,
years.
yeah.
But you know, you got rid of Theme Team Prob, and in replacement, we now won't have to ban maps like that. So great, kudos. No,
Dang. All right.
we're gonna get feisty.
That came from an interesting area, Simeon, an interesting part of the brain.
Yeah,
Cool.
But no, this is good. So for too long, there have been maps that were really effective if your team was ready for it, and if your opponent's team wasn't ready for it, just completely like nerfed them, made it like stupid hard. Sadly, this is only for elevated. There's still things that might pop up like hedge maze.
Gosh.
So yeah, there's still things like outdoor blocking that will prevent people that are flyers from like accessing the opposite side of the map. But for the most part, elevation will not be a part of that problem anymore.
Right.
But yeah,
So yeah, that's cool. I have heard people talk about like it might be rough if I use all of my special terrain and just put it right in front of your figures in your starting area.
sure.
You know,
Yeah.
So,
if I
like,
do 3 shipping containers and
you
just
just put them right in front of your team.
make a Congo line across like your
Yeah.
starting area.
You could just mess up like some side steps, some placements, whatever stuff like that. So
I mean,
I wouldn't mind
what
saying
was it?
like the first row right after your starting area should also
Yeah.
not be able to be placed. in
the
special
trains
terrain.
map where it was like
Oh yeah, that ledge right away. Oh man,
mostly messed up like lines of TK.
yeah,
yeah,
that
you
was-
couldn't
that was
TK
really
objects
big.
back because it was like you had to get to the elevated and then
Yeah.
it was not fun.
Yeah, that was
wasn't
tough.
great. Odds and ends. We've also made a number of minor tweaks to the rules. There's nothing new in this section, just a bit of polish and incorporating win rulings into the text of the comp. For our die-hard rule fanatics, we're just going to rattle off all the little fixes.
Hit me with them. Give them to me.
1.1a, defined sets. 1.1b, defined rarity. 1.9b, clarified that team-up cards are a type of alternate character card.
Huh.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. 1.9c, defined legacy cards, which also had no clue until now.
Oh, I defined sets earlier, and I'm like, man, we never defined sets.
Yeah, we never like specifically defined like what a Heroclix is.
What is
That
what
is
is
the
a
thing that
Heroclix?
is the dial and
Oh,
stuff. Like you
jeez.
got to put it on the map. A map is also defined. No.
Yeah.
2.6 added that characters unequip and drop held terrain before entering the sideline. Which I mean, granted, that's all new mechanics, so had to be added. 6.3b clarified adjacency through corners, which I read that and it gave me a headache. 7.2 added the no instructions when it's not your turn ruling.
What? Hands under your butt. It's not your turn.
No instructions.
You have no instructions
when it's not your
sir,
turn, ruling.
ma'am.
7.7 added the explanation regarding actions that can't be completed. Can't complete that action. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. For specific reasons that happens occasionally. 7.9 fixed the typo. Your to your. Thank you.
You are to your.
Yeah,
so
you are.
I like that one. I like that change a lot.
It's a
As
pretty big one.
Big grammar
Pretty
guy.
important. 10.8 clarified that an automatic breakaway is a successful breakaway.
Oh, that's kind of important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truthfully. 19.4 added that characters can use the team abilities on their dial. I was really worried this wasn't going to be incorporated. I've always been questioning whether I could use team abilities that were on
The
my
power
dial.
cosmic symbol,
Yeah.
cosmic energy, but can I use it though?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
20.7a added an explanation of how to determine if an effect is tied to a specific instance of a power. Which, fair. There's like
Yeah.
times where it's like super senses, but only for range attacks. And it's
Oh,
like, well,
sure.
do I have super senses?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's some sort of thing around that kind of realm of weird instances of powers. Perplex, but only to target opposing characters. I don't know. Clarified multiple, or 21.4, clarified multiple players having die replacements.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, what order that will take place in. 21.6d clarified that generated terrain is friendly to the force that generated it. Added that generated terrain markers use the default values for their type. really hate when my barrier gets unfriendly to me after
Yeah,
I generate
dude.
it. Like, it just, you know.
All that disrespect. I
You're
did all this
like,
hard work
oh,
of
no.
raising and putting you up barrier.
I made this barrier, and now my opponent has access to it. It's all my opponent's barrier
dare
now.
they.
It's not effective anymore for me. It just, it just like melts. Like, it's like ice walls, and then they just like turn into water when he wants to shoot me. But when I want to shoot him, they turn back into ice. I don't know what that means. I don't know what terrain being friendly to somebody means at all. Not like, I mean, I guess if it's costed terrain, then it makes sense because you want to know who's scoring it. But 23.1b added that gained keywords are lost if the character goes to the sideline or is removed from the game. That makes sense. You get keywords at the beginning of the game, and then you go to the sideline.
No longer a member of the Spider-Man family.
We took you off. We demoted you from X-Men. That was at the beginning, and then you left. That guy came in for you.
You have been banished from Morocco.
Yeah. 24.6 defined what tags are.
Oh, we haven't seen Secret Identity or Alter
Sidekick,
Ego in a while.
Captain.
Sidekick, Captain, yeah. Hopefully that means we get more of that in the future.
Hopefully.
Actually.
We haven't seen any for this set yet.
No, not of the 2 figures we've seen so far.
No. 25.3b clarified that the other identities section here no longer applies in any sanctioned format.
Like other, like real names? Other identities?
I think it's talking about real names and like any thereof kind of thing, like Rachel Cole Alves saying that she is considered Punisher for all game effects. I don't know. Maybe stuff like that. 25.5b clarified the timing on placing special terrain. 25.6a clarified that you can run multiple locations so long as only one of them is using bonuses.
Like special locations?
I assume map locations. That's the only location I can think of. You can run multiple as long as only one of them is using bonuses.
So
I think that means like as
of that map,
only one is
using its
active.
paid. Oh, okay, one is active. So I can pay
know.
for like 3 bonuses.
So like
them
you
all
can't
on my
like
team?
you can't like what was Iron Man's factory or whatever. You can't do that one. Then get like the consolation
for not being
while
on the other
being
map.
on another one. I don't know.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
I'm not sure. I'd have to.
If that's how it works. That's really cool.
Section
Silver Age,
27.
I guess.
Yeah, we haven't really seen a ton of special map rules. Section 27 added a section containing the full powers and abilities card.
Ooh,
so
that's helpful.
Yeah, you don't need the PAC anymore. You just need the comprehensive rules. The finish portion of the comprehensive rules addressing PAC powers also reflects the changes mentioned in previous articles. And that's it for the 2023 Rules Update series. Before we go, we'd like to leave you with one final preview of the next set. We've put a lot of care into this update, and we are excited to see players bringing it to their tables. Sincerely, the Heroclix design team.
Do we want to finish talking about the rules and stuff before we get into the
no.
dial?
Let's do this dial.
Let's do this dial and then get into it. Oh,
and
man.
Then, I've got some words for some people.
Yeah, all right. Well, I wanted to end us with a cherry on top. But
nope.
No.
We're ending it with anger.
Oh, jeez.
Spite.
So the dial is a super rare from the new Spider-Man set. It is Venom Thanos. I know. Not Venom. Black Order, minions of Thanos, symbiote, cosmic deity, monster, and ruler. Keywords, he can be played at 250, 125, or 50 points. He has an 11-click dial at 250 points. He, to note, only has the cosmic energy team ability, for all those that were curious. He has 2 traits. The first one is symbiotic fusion, which we've seen before in Empire, plasticity, and super senses. If Venom Thanos is within 4 squares, line of fire, of an opposing character, he can't be targeted by ranged attacks. His second trait is the universe will be ours. Leadership. Free. Choose one to use until your next turn. Phasing teleport, close combat expert, mind control, probability control, shape change, or steal energy. If Venom Thanos succeeded with leadership this turn, he has friendly characters with the symbiote or monster keyword within range can use the chosen power. So he can always get any of those powers at all, but then succeeds at leadership, and then everybody within his 4 range that share a keyword, monster or symbiote, will then get that power as well, which can be huge. You might be able to just give your entire team probability control or shape change or steal energy. There's lots of good powers to hand out there. And there are some good ones that can just help him move around early on in the game.
A full monster team, all with mind control or all with prob control.
Yeah,
And that'd almost be as good as if like they were a theme team.
I know,
Theme
you're
team
right.
prop control.
It's interesting because like they have to have a keyword, so
Yeah,
you're
but
kind of
if you hit
playing-
leadership, then I mean it's technically better than that.
right?
You know,
Technically, would be better. All right, we have the Lethal Titan. This is a special attack power. It's on click 1, 4, and 5, which will be on his starting line on 5. It will not be on his 50-point starting line. It'll be right before that. And then on his last 2 clicks, he has a special attack power, the Lethal Titan. Giant Reach 3. When Venom Thanos hits, after resolutions, you may choose a hit character to gain immobile until your next turn. He has triple targets, so yeah, one of them gets immobile until your next turn, so he grounds them, which is kind of interesting. And then he has a special damage power right before each of his starting lines, and then on his very last click, so on 4, 8, and 11, it is Stop, Battle Fury, Exploit Weakness, and that is
not a usual combo.
no, it's actually not, which is weird because they're both close combat powers, and all those stop clicks actually all kind of look different. So they all have the Lethal Titan ability, which is cool, but one's got like charge and vulnerability, one has hypersonic speed impervious, one has flurry with invulnerability. So he's a pretty stout dial. He's got a lot of forward damage. He starts the opening 10 hypersonic with that 4 range and that giant reach 3 special power. He is a 12 for 4. He is a 19 defense top dial. He's got some 17, 18s in there. Like I said, 11 click dial, never goes below 10 attack. I'm not going to go crazy deep into his full power set or anything, but it's Thanos, but
It's a cool
he is
sculpt.
Venom. It is a cool
Yeah.
sculpt. Yeah, it's like glowing energy coming out of his
Yeah,
hand.
it's
and
like
then
an
he's got some Venom
energy
stuff.
tendril, and then
Yeah.
also tendrils coming off of him.
Yeah.
Not a character I thought needed a symbiote, but
Did we see this at Worlds?
we might
I
have.
thought this was like part of one of
I
them.
definitely remember
'Cause
like
I thought people were like,
being like,
who is
"Wow."
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
Venom Apocalypse?
yeah.
You know?
I will say like 10 speed hypersonic with 4 range, like his 12 effective range, definitely feels like he's reined in, and that's
Oh,
a 250
13 effective
point
range. He's Giant Reach 3.
Oh, that's
on
right,
that.
Giant
Yeah,
Reach 3.
so-
Yeah, so his Giant Reach is actually outranging
better than
his,
his range, yeah.
his printed range. Also to note on this character, his first trait, that symbiotic fusion trait, is the only trait that fits on the front of his card.
Yup. So the rest of these 4 special powers, or 2 special powers and the 1 trait, are all on the back,
Yeah.
which I'm just not crazy about, man. I really hate it. I really like
I'm just
all the information being on the
mean,
front. And then if you got to look at the back, fine. Here's the
we're
back.
absolutely going to have cards that have to fold out. Like we've had cards
Right,
that have had to
that's
fold
true.
out. Like it just happens. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know.
I just like keeping cards in sleeves.
I-
Now,
I-
it's got to be
yeah.
those lame clear sleeves. You
I
know,
just
that are cool.
I liked flavor text. I know it's not like the biggest loss ever, but I did like it. I know most of the time it was just
I
fluff
wish
that you
maybe
didn't
if we
need,
would have
but-
lost flavor text, we could have kept all the information on the front of the card.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Or I mean, just put like that big fancy
big sculpt could have been
on the back,
yeah.
and then all the info on the front.
No offense to the digital render artist, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't need that in my game.
We have like
It's just weird.
a Heroclix, like the little microscope that you look at like diamonds and stuff with. We have that for Heroclix cards because
Yeah.
the text is so small because we want to fit it all in the front. I don't know. But yeah, I digress. That's Venom Thanos. He is a super
That's
rare
him.
from Beyond
052, I guess,
Amazing.
of note. So they're still in the super rares at 052. I think it's like a
Yeah, no prime.
60-something character.
He's
set.
not a prime.
Yeah, he's not a
so
prime.
there's probably no regular Thanos version.
Yeah,
of it.
which means there's
Well,
actually no primes in the entire set. No, I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure we explicitly know that there are primes in the set.
yeah. So I guess there could be a regular Thanos. It'd just be
Could
weird.
be. It just wouldn't be a prime.
They wouldn't
yeah.
share a sculpt. So, but yes, on to
The nitty gritty.
themed team prob control. So,
Okay.
I don't want to get too heavy into opinions on this rules change because I haven't played it enough. I will say, on the outside, like looking at it, first off, I was like, okay, no more theme team probs. Not like a big deal for me. I've played like a lot of teams that didn't have a lot of probs. I've burned through theme team probs too fast. Like if it's an even playing field, whether you have a theme or non-theme, in my opinion now, which isn't great because that means that non-theme technically is just always the better route to
Better.
go.
There's no restriction, right? So
Yeah.
it's just better.
But it also doesn't keep me from building theme because there's plenty of like good traits and stuff.
Right.
So I'm not going to say anything negative about this change. Instead, what I'm going to say is my negative opinions about why they decided to make this change.
Oh.
And so that's, they said they're eliminating theme team prob control. It's been a long-standing and beloved part of team building, and I'm going to agree with that.
Yep.
I think most casual players really like their theme team prob control, and I think the majority of Heroclix players in general, and by majority I mean like vastly overpopulating the competitive players and the probably testers of this game like theme team prob control. And so testing and tournament data reliably showed that the majority of theme team prob uses were during the initial attacks of the game, for alpha strikes and so forth and such, which I have to say is probably like 5% of all people that play Heroclix.
Yeah.
Like, it's great. It's great that like that's going to be a more concise and less power-hungry alpha strike kind of force to be reckoned with. But your Kokomos, your Vegas, your Floridas, like all those places where people go to play these big tournaments, there's that one in, is it
Pakistan?
Huntsvanville.
Yeah. Roll Tide.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Like, man, like the competitive part of this game, like, yeah, if you enjoy it, that's great. We should not be hinging how the game gets changed based on the tiny minority of competitive players.
Especially not for theme teams
No.
of all changes.
Like, we didn't change the game when Vulture was viable for 2 years. We didn't change the game when Colossal Retaliation spam was
we
like
still never
ruining
fixed
it.
how we have after resolutions fixed now, but like for the longest time it's like, man,
We didn't
fundamentally the wording needs
we
to be
didn't even
changed.
reel in like ID cards. We just early
Nope.
retired them. Same
Yeah,
with like
that
Faust.
too.
We just early retired them. This is like a change that, the map size was changing, so like we had to worry about Alpha Strike. But just like Titan's Tower, we could have just watched and saw like how it worked. We could have just waited.
Right.
We didn't need to clip the wings of some important part of the game. Like, obviously, I think Theme Team Prob Control is bigger than Titan's Tower. But again, the same like forces at work back then are the same ones now. And I just feel like we are looking too hard at the competitive level when this game, at its base, is a casual game that's mostly played in kitchen tabletops and for fun. And I'd be remiss to say, like, I have never been alpha striked at any of my casual venues. I've never once had somebody cross the map and hit me in my starting area. And the only time I've ever had that happen is during a tournament. And that's fine. That's the place for it. I don't care if that happens at a tournament. I try and do that to people at tournaments. That's my favorite way to play at tournaments. But I absolutely don't do that casually. And now I can't use my theme team. I can't run my Titans and get theme team probs. I can't run like, the Trinity and get theme team probs. Like those garbage teams, Alpha Flight. The one thing they had going for them was like, hey, I can re-roll that attack. And now I don't have a prob on that team. So it's like, why would I ever run that theme?
I think that hurts. It really hurts a lot. So I did say I would be okay with this change if we saw a drastic change in the way dial design is made but then like not every character can be focused on being a member of a theme team, right? Thanos has the nice little text that can help him out if he's, symbiote or monsters, gives you a little bit more incentive to play him with those figures. So, but I think there needs to be just a blanket thing that helps theme teams. You are, by all means, at a disadvantage for playing theme because you are narrowing the scope of figures you can choose to only certain keywords, right?
Especially in like a certain age, like modern.
Oh, yeah.
Modern's already the shortest amount of like Heroclix that you can look at.
Right.
And so if you're going to say like some DC set, for example, like some DC theme, Modern's going to cut you down to like 2 sets currently. And that's only going to get smaller when Wonder Woman rotates, if it rotates, like assuming. But yeah, you're already at like you're at like a disadvantage because like, you have to pick suboptimal figures for themes most of the time. Whereas like, I'd love for Q Prime to be on this X-Men team, but like, oh, darn it, Star Trek didn't have any X-Men in it.
Right.
So I guess like he's out.
Same thing. It's like, oh man, I need a prob. It's an Avengers team. I guess I've got to run like the 30-point Scarlet Witch. But it's like, well, who cares? Because theme doesn't matter. Run the 15-point cuckoo instead. Boom, there's half the points, same power.
Also makes almost all of like the keyword cheating and stuff that like we've been like the team swaps and stuff. Like, why do I care about swapping Avengers if I can just basically like, I don't get the +3 to map roll, or
which
so like
isn't even that big
roll.
anymore.
But yeah, like
if you win map, you don't choose map either.
Right. So if you win, you either don't choose or you don't go first. So it's like it's not hampering you that much anymore. And so it's like, well, why wouldn't I just start with the figures that I want to start with, unless I want to like sneak on a bystander?
Right.
Like that's what swap is now. It's just like, here's this bystander I get. Like,
yeah,
it's wonky. Man, it's aggressive change in my opinion. And my word, I just don't know who they are listening to that thought this was such a necessary thing for Alpha Strikes.
Yeah.
Like, clearly somebody that's never won Worlds. Probably never even won Nationals. Might have won something somewhere worth something, but, like, you know what? Private message me if you did, because I doubt it. I'll 1v1 you at Blood Gulch to get Theme Team probs back.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's how, and it's not even the fact that I care that much about Theme Team prob control, because I can put prob on my team. Like, I like putting prob on my team. I like having prob on my team. It's the fact that for years I've seen casual players not rely on this, not use it as a crutch, but happily be like, oh yeah, I've got Theme Team props. Like, they roll a crit miss and like all of a sudden it's turn 5 and they finally remembered. It was never Alpha Strikes using all 3 of their theme probs. It was never like the first attack defensively keeping their opponent from scoring. Half the time, like you wouldn't even use all of your theme probs in a match. Like, it just...
I always was sparing with them. I was like, I got to save these. I have to treasure these beautiful theme probs.
I'm glad that the poor, soft, competitive players won't have to worry about theme probs ruining them with Alpha Strikes anymore.
Hey, now they can all play unthemed good stuff and not feel bad about it.
The crazy thing is, if you all had themes and you were getting Alpha Strike and the Alpha Striker was using all 3 of theirs and you were using all 3 of yours, it was a net 0, so it didn't even need to be changed in that situation. It was getting re-rolled 6 times. It didn't matter. You all had the same chance.
Yeah.
Jerks. But yeah.
I do, but no, just in general, I hate the idea of anything being changed because of tournament data and competitive players. I am friends with everybody in the competitive, not everybody, whatever. Most people in the competitive community. We went to Worlds, we talked to tons of people, we loved hanging out with them. I love going to those tournaments, but let's be real, competitive players are the minority that play this game.
Yeah.
And you could say, well, if it's not competitive, then they don't have to follow any of the rules. And it's like, but I want to, even if it's me casually at the home, and I could be like, look, I'm playing with Simeon. I say, let's all have 20 theme probs this game or something. It's like, no, it's not fun. I still want to play the rules, even if it's not in a tournament where I could legally play however. I could play where every time he rolls a crit miss, I hit him with a steel chair.
And we've said this every time a rules change comes up. If you're just playing at home or you just want a house rule, that's fine. Like, it doesn't matter.
Totally fine.
Like, this change doesn't affect you. But the problem comes where, like, those casual communities where they want to play by the rules, because occasionally they run like a states
they play
event.
In store or
like,
whatever.
Or like,
venue.
They don't want like somebody from out of town coming in and being like, oh, all your rules are weird. Don't play with the actual rule. Like, they want to be uniform.
They want to grow the community.
Yeah.
And the best way to grow the community is just play by the normal rules.
It is.
Right.
Yeah. Having 100 like house rules, while it might be the perfect version for you and like your 5 players, isn't the best way to grow your community. So most people that are casual have to play by the rules, or they choose to play by the rules. But yeah, I think competitive players would have had a better chance at working this out, figuring it out. Obviously Alpha Strikes versus, quadruple barriers or something might have been a thing for a while. But again, like I say, with like all the every time there gets like an errata or like a change, I just wish we would have worked it out, like let it see how it went. These preemptive like ideas and like these preemptive fixes, I don't like it. Same with like Titan's Tower. The invisible jet might have been played on it, who knows? But half the time that person probably would have lost map or gone against other flyers. So did it actually matter banning that map? Probably not.
Not to be totally devil's advocate here, but we have had theme teams for 20 years. I don't know if it's a preemptive change so much. No offense, it's not necessarily preemptive.
It's preemptive to their Alpha Strike for the shorter maps.
Okay, sure, that's fair then. Yes.
Because the shorter maps made Alpha Strike stronger, but then they also made the starting area a single row, which
does hinder it quite a bit.
It shortens like your. I mean, they shortened TK.
Like we said earlier,
also,
I could also
your
put
line
all of my
fire
special terrain in front of your Alpha Strike team and really screw up like your ability.
If I can't like TK over that elevated, I can only TK 2 squares out instead of the 4.
Yeah,
I mean that is big. There would have been strategies around this. I don't think we had to do it this way, but it is what it is. Obviously, like we played a game earlier today. I didn't play a theme team. Kalder did. I didn't see like the problems with not having theme team prob because I wasn't playing a theme team. What I did see was having prob on dial became extremely strong.
Oh yeah.
So cheap characters with prob or just like utility characters with prob in general are going to get a huge boost because that's your only access now. Having dice replacement, I think, is going to be real big.
Huge.
Like, if your opponent's running a theme team, like a lot of theme teams out there, named theme teams or generic, don't have a lot of good choices for prob. So I think it's going to be, I don't know. I guess there's tarot cards. So you can use like the reroll
from that.
There's
that too, for some rerolls. Yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I don't know. What is it? What's the saying? Majority speaks, minority rules. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They were listening to a real vocal minority here.
Yeah.
To make this change. So, I think it's a pretty drastic change. I do think we need something, not just in dial design. Although I want to see more of that going forward. But just base rules. I want there to be something more for theme teams.
I will say I saw people commenting how, like, WizKids has been doing better. Like
they have, yeah.
Teen Titans,
Team Up cards.
And,
Teen Titans,
Gotham
the
Underworld.
Yep.
Yeah, like that was all very well done.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I mean, I don't know if it was keyword based or
it was all mostly team ability based. But they needed to share it.
Similar thing, yeah. Like it wouldn't be hard. My only opinion with that is that takes up like a whole special power or trait on like their dial. So rather than getting like a, for instance, a cyborg that can morph his body into different weapons, I now have a cyborg that like gives all Teen Titans enhancement or something.
Right. It has to use part of whatever could have been used for
rather
a more
than just
unique version of just that character, or a more like full iconic version of that character is now used to just make the team better.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yeah. I think they can work more for certain characters or not, like a Batman leading the team, Superman, Captain America, whatever. Characters like that are more natural leaders or in charge of teams can get that added without taking away from their character.
But it was also just like a super simple way to say, like,
it was,
this team is synergy.
We
like
work
this
together.
team works together. Like they aren't just a random hodgepodge of people. Like they know how to function, and because they know how to function, here are 3 team props.
Yeah, here's the reward.
I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough, and it's weird.
There's also characters that work off of theme team probs, or obviously I said Cap Venom earlier today, but High Evo.
Yep.
Both of those will be getting their second round of changes.
Maybe
I
hope they do.
Yeah, hopefully. But this would be the second time they have to get errated because Wonder Woman 80th changed how theme team prob worked, or also just how theme teams work. I guess.
really thought we hit the nail on the head with Wonder Woman 80.
Oh, with generic themes and
I liked that a lot. As a big fan of generic themes, I was like, sure, a bunch of random assassins are just as coordinated as the Justice League. Like, I used that line, but even then, I still love playing, generic themes. I love it. So I really thought we had it perfect. That was great.
And I still think I'm not going to go a full classic clicks 2.0.
No, we're going to have to play a lot with it. But, I know we kind of sound that way.
Yeah.
Right now.
And
don't
worry,
listener. We're aware.
I'm mostly going to miss theme team prob control. I won't be upset that it's gone because, like I said, it's a net zero whether we kept it or not. The only reason I'm going to be sad that it's gone is because I've seen a lot of people experience joy being able to turn like a crit miss around at like my local shops. Maybe that's just anecdotal, but so is aggressive alpha strike strategies, in competitive settings. That's more anecdotal than all of my casual settings ever will be, because it's a lot fewer. It just simply is. And I really hope the game doesn't decide to hinge on the competitive side, because it's such a small community.
Yikes.
We will not grow that way.
Yikes.
It grows from casual up. Casuals become competitive players, not vice versa. Nobody ever gets into this game at the competitive level. People get in at the casual level and then get more competitive if they do at all. But yeah, I think Worlds is enough to show, we've got 1,200-ish people that are subscribed, and there wasn't that many at Worlds.
No.
So I don't know what that says, but I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe we should get rid of team abilities next.
Oh, yikes. Maybe. That's what they're waiting for. They're like, we've changed them all from wild card to something else, and now they're all gone. No, I don't think that'll happen.
Competitive players don't
I
like
doubt that'll
looking
happen.
at dials anymore.
Competitive players
just
don't know how
cards.
the X-Men team ability works, so we're gonna get rid of it. Oh, jeez.
Basically.
I mean, I've never the million X-Men games I've seen them roll for the X-Men team ability very few times.
I like way support works now.
Yeah,
Let's
I
just
do
make
like that.
X-Men and Titans support.
Oh gosh, that would be so good.
It would be.
We should make it like support, but then roll an extra dice, and you might deal yourself a damage.
We'll make it support, except you roll 2 dice.
There you go.
And you pick one that heals and one that damages
the person healing.
So
Yeah,
if you
perfect.
crit hit, yes, they get to heal 4,
s-
but you take 6 unavoidable.
Oh jeez, don't even have it.
Yeah.
You still take the full whatever
you take the
unavoidable
full
damage.
as unavoidable.
Yikes. So those are the rules changes. Like we said earlier and a few times on this podcast, we're going to have a Clicksbusters video going over. Simeon and I are going to talk about the changes a little bit more, and we're going to play a full Heroclix game on a small map with special terrain with all the changes. So stay tuned. Be on the lookout for that on the YouTube channel. But that's the rules changes. We talked about a lot. There's a lot to go over. I implore you guys, check out the article. We'll have it. There's going to be a link in the description below the podcast. On this website, you'll be able to find all of the articles that they've posted so far. Check those out. If you want to do some heavy reading, scan that comprehensive rule book if you want to. I know I'll probably go ahead and look at all the little parts that were highlighted in the last article, so I definitely recommend you do that as well. If you're one of those people that likes to print it out, I'm pretty sure it's pretty easy to print out. I've seen people make prints of it, a little 3-hole punch, throw it into your binder or something. You'll have a little comprehensive rule book on hand. So that's all that really cool stuff that you can do, thankfully, since it's an easy document to print out. Makes learning all these new rules just way easier. So if you didn't want to get a starter or something, it's easy. So
And again, WizKids, if you're listening, I didn't see in there, I looked quite hard, what happens to the 2x3 terrain when I use it in an attack or when I shoot it. It doesn't say if debris is made. It says debris isn't made if I use an object or if I destroy an object, but
Right.
it doesn't say if I destroy regular terrain. I assume debris is made, because otherwise why would they mention it?
or it just disappears. Ooh,
But then there's another section that's like,
oh, you have to destroy the full
if
thing.
something
Yeah, you're right.
if something would remove terrain after it's been destroyed, it instead removes the debris that was and I was
Yeah.
like, well, what makes the debris? Nothing says what makes the debris. I know what makes debris from walls and blocking and stuff, but
Yeah.
some of this isn't walls or blocking. Some of this is elevated shipping crates.
Right.
Also, you can pick up and throw hindering squares, so that's fun.
Pretty funny.
We haven't seen them yet, but
No, I can't wait
they'll
to
make
check out
some.
those hindering squares. Those will be hilarious.
One
All
more
right.
thing before we move on to
Oh, boy.
listener questions. We made a big post about the International Player Foundation,
yes.
the IPF. We will be doing a live stream with Ian here sometime after this podcast, probably within a week at least. We didn't want to bog down this episode since it's so rules heavy with IPF, but that is a big event. If you are interested at all, if you're listening to this for the first time and you're like, what? Go to our YouTube page and watch our IPF video. Give you
IPF being the International Player Fund.
Yep.
Basic goal is to fund an international player to come to Worlds this year in 2023. We also have Andrea's interview, and you get to hear his story and his crazy journey he took from Italy to get to Memphis, and also how much it cost. And at the end of the day, we want more international players. We had our first international player win Worlds. So by all means, let's get more to show up to Worlds. Let's make Worlds an actual world event instead of mostly Americans, Canadians, and people from Mexico and stuff, just adjacent countries to
Yeah.
America. So let's truly make it worldwide. I'm not going to talk more about it. Check out those videos, and like Ian or Simeon said, we'll have more on a live stream coming up soon on YouTube. But stay tuned for all that stuff. It'll be really cool. We promise. All right, listener questions.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
These are kind of easy because a lot of them are rules related to this new article,
Some
which
of them
is
we've
some
kind
of
of
kind of
already
covered
gone over.
already. Yeah. So Malcolm asks, what Heroclix got a massive boost with these new rules changes? Simeon and I have talked about this a lot. Mostly legacy card characters.
Yeah, things
Ones
with
like the
huge
10
range.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
big
this
range,
crazy
big
stuff.
speeds. Tempo was one. I'm like a +3 to speed is now. I mean, it was big when tempo was made,
yeah.
but with the map being even smaller, it's even bigger. Also, with no theme team probs, having prob on dial is pretty good for 35 points when it also gives you like a +3 speed. It really helps you close that gap. Yeah, there's a lot of figures that could almost shoot across the map or can. I think in one of our episodes, I think we listed off like 6 or 7
Yeah, we named off a
characters
few.
that can. WWE being one of them in silver, like all of them can
So good.
basically reach the opposite side of the map turn 1 if they want with grand entrance. And yeah, TK's not that big, but also in silver, Mr. Oz. I mean, I think it's been said before, but you know, using that defensively or offensively, his TK where he can move somebody 2 squares, like that gives you a 6 square TK again. That gives your opponent a 2 square TK, which is sidestep, basically.
Yeah, that hurts.
It's almost worse than sidestep because they don't get to control those 2 squares that you move them.
That's true.
And then he's 12 range prob that sees through everything, which is a ton of the map. So, yeah, he's obviously solid in silver.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think in modern, they were looking forward to these changes, so I don't think there's a ton of like crazy stuff outside of legacy cards as far as like
Hopefully.
speed and whatever.
Yeah, hopefully.
But which HeroClick got worse with these new rules changes? Well, the rare
Notice
Aquaman
The
from Batman
rare
Team
Aquaman
Man.
from Batman is unusable.
His
They can
tentacles will never be able to live.
You can TK my water terrain.
You can TK
This is so
his water
sad.
terrain.
The end of the world is upon us.
You couldn't you couldn't put smoke or something over him before, but now you
totally
can
couldn't.
just TK that water
You
out
also
from under
couldn't
him.
just TK away your
and they
character
just-
from them either.
They dry up. They dry up so quick. Yeah, if you had a character
Dude.
stuck adjacent to him, you couldn't have just broken like the adjacency by TKing. But now you TK that ball of water, you throw it away.
Throw it away. Tentacles
sitting
shrivel
over
up
there.
and die
Yeah,
like
they're just-
SpongeBob in the movie. Just no water, no water.
Yeah.
That was so ridiculous. I love that Aquaman figure. He's one of my favorite figures in that Batman set. And you know how many tentacles I made when I played him? Like 2 that night. Out of like 4 games, I made 2 whole tentacles, and I still had a blast playing him. He was awesome.
You know what's better than generating water terrain is having water terrain printed on the map,
Yeah,
which your opponent can't TK.
yeah.
And one thing, the Batman team up comes with one of the only 2x2 sizes of the maps that are currently quote unquote going to be legal that we've seen.
Right.
Happens to have a whole quarter of water.
Bunch of water on that map.
one whole quarter
lot
of it.
map. A lot of water on that
Yeah.
map. Yep. So, but in all seriousness, besides Aquaman, I guess, Ultron Pym gets really bad because he punishes theme teams for using probability control. So now it's only theme teams of characters.
You can still play them for mission points.
You can
and
still play them for mission points.
generating figures and like
technically, they'll still take damage if they do a normal prop control.
Yeah, if
and
they happen to
are
be a theme prop.
team.
Yeah,
But
if
it just
they-
means
if
there's a lot less going around.
they happen to be a theme team and have
printed
printed
prob.
prob.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, when I practiced against Matt Reed and he was running that is the case for my team. Like I did have a character that used prob
Yeah.
that was like themed.
Yeah.
And that's why I ended up going with like a non-theme because I was like, I don't like this anymore. But yeah, obviously there's going to be characters get worse. I don't think Thrawn Pym getting like that little like thing taken away from him is that bad, but like it's gonna be hardly ever that you run across a theme team that has a ton of prob. Like it used to be a heavy hitter might take one unavoidable because they could use a theme prop, but now it's like their support character has the prob.
Yeah.
Because that's the person that has prob. It's
Right.
like the Scarlet Witch, it's the Tempo, it's the, Mortis, It's not like they're big, Hulk's not coming at you with prob. Not anymore, at least.
Yeah, not anymore. What would you have changed for the rules? Powers and abilities. You were in charge of WizKids.
I would have made that.
If I was in charge of WizKids, I don't think I would have known these rules were being changed. I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know if
I would have
Justin
been
Zirin or whoever
too
is
busy
in-
counting my money on an
Yeah.
island.
I'd be like, "Hello, NECA. How are you doing today?" Why, yes, our profits are through the roof right now.
I didn't know Justin Zirin
Yeah,
was
that's
Austrian.
exactly what he. That's exactly, he's Austrian, bro.
Yeah. I would have made Leap Climb just the trait that they gave Spider-Gwen. The Leap
Yeah.
Climb free, place this character in a square of different elevation within 4 squares in line of fire. Maybe not 4 squares, but I think like a free move, if you're like on the rim of elevation, free be placed like on another quote-unquote adjacent rim of elevation, like up, down, sideways, diagonally, whatever. I think that's a good change to Leap Climb, and that's like the only power. I will say Earthbound should get
I was about to
changed
say.
so that like you can't use any like passenger. I don't know how they'd incorporate it.
Here's
but no
what I want
passenger,
Earthbound
nothing
to be.
Like that.
Earthbound used to get rid of your ability to like have willpower
Yeah.
or whatever. I think that's what it should
No
be
income,
again.
yeah.
I think it should be old school pushing damage. If you get a second action token, heck, if you get a action token, you take a unavoidable damage. Because
Alternatively,
you're Earthbound, you're down, bro. You're
What
down
if
in the dust. You're
what if it does
neutralized.
the Molly Hayes effect and it says this character can take a max of 1 action token at a time?
Right.
So like
And you can't do a second
yeah.
one? I would like that as well.
action token clear, action token clear.
Earthbound needs to be more crippling. I get it.
Yeah.
No improved movement. Oh, I can't fly anymore. I'm Earthbound. No. It needs to be a, like, the whole point of the power, it's flavorful. It
Yeah.
needs to be a power that punishes you for having it.
Well, and also
That's the point of it.
very rarely, but occasionally you could give it to somebody,
And yeah, that was awesome.
and it was hilarious when you could.
Right.
It was like, not only are you taking an action, not only taking a second action token, you're taking pushing damage.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
You're not only moving into that hindering, you're stopping movement as soon as you hit it. Now, like,
Yep.
all of that is gone.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, half the reason why I felt Earthbound and down was because that's a team somewhere out
Yeah.
there.
Good job.
But
Good reference.
half the reason why like that was like a bad power is because like
That's the thematicness of it,
you
know?
didn't want to be Earthbound.
Exactly.
You were Earthbound because you were depowered. Like,
Yeah.
Superman was transformed back into Billy
He's
Batson
surrounded
or
by...
yeah, the old Superman
Turn
says,
into...
he says
What's he say? Kansas or something?
No, he says Krypton,
Oh,
and then
there
a
you
lightning
go.
bolt comes down
Right.
and turns him into Superman.
Oh, I
Otherwise
forgot that's how it worked.
Yeah, he's what is
No,
it?
you already said he was Billy Batson.
Oh,
So-
yep, Billy Batson.
Yeah, you already said Billy Batson. We have to stick with
I
it.
think that's Batman though. I think I got that wrong.
Oh, is
yeah, Batman.
that
says-
makes sense because he's
Batman's-
Batman.
yeah, Billy
Batson.
Batson.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and he says Batman, and then it gets struck by lightning.
Gets struck.
In the
he
shape of
also
a-
just gets struck by lightning.
Yeah, it's always lightning.
and he dies because
Lightning
it
all
doesn't
the
give him
way
any superpowers. he just dies.
Oh, he's got rubber boots, so he's.
Oh,
insulated.
you're right. He's insulated.
Yeah,
He's fine.
he prepared for it. Prep time. What were we talking? Yeah.
Oh my god.
Billy Batson should be Earthbound. Depowered people.
But yeah,
Bruce
especially if we're
Banner
gonna do-
should be Earthbound before he
like
turns into the
old
Hulk.
school banner clicks.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's actually a cool idea. Where if you would get 2 action tokens, you take a pushing nowadays, and that would make
Yeah.
old school banner clicks work. And
Tony
stuff.
gets knocked out of the Iron Man suit or whatever.
Yeah.
He is now Tony Stark,
Tony
the
Stark.
human that can't fly
and
can't
can't
push.
really fight. You
Yeah.
know, like he's a dude.
Yeah, he's Anthony the human.
Are you Anthony the Human? Why, yes, Mandarin. I am Anthony the Human. How did you know?
Yeah.
Because you're not the Iron Man anymore. You don't have any metal on you. Was really iron? There's more titanium gold alloy.
used iron since I was in the cave. And then he snaps.
Yeah.
and
Oh, jeez.
Mandarin gets disintegrated. That's his new power.
That's how Iron Man 3 should have ended. And everybody would have been so confused, like, why did he snap? And it's like, you'll get it in a few years. It'll be really funny in a little bit, retrospectively. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump on over to Discord. This is where I give the plug for the Patreon membership. Hey, man, sorry, saw that. I'm so jealous. I don't have that one yet. Anyways, so the Discord is Patreon exclusive. If you join for $5 or more, you can become a member of the Discord. That is what will give you access to direct links and lines to ask us questions for the show. You'll get behind-the-scenes videos. You get access to giveaways. We also play Bad Samaritan every once in a while. There's also blooper-sodes, so episodes of the podcast, or not full episodes anyways, but parts of the podcast that didn't make it to the official episode. We don't edit out too much, but some of the bits we do are pretty funny, and you can find all of those on our Discord. So there's a lot of really fun, awesome content that you get on Discord. I think $5 a month is a steal when you think about everything you get. It's pretty huge. So without further ado, let's go ahead, check out some questions. Oh yeah, and our Patreon is, of course, Dial H Podcast. Not Dial H for Heroclix, but Dial H Podcast at patreon.com. So check it out. Join up. You'll be glad that you did. Trust me. So we have a few questions here on the Discord. Zone Bill says, how big of a sigh of relief are you guys making that the new card design removed flavor text from standard powers but kept flavor text for special powers and significant appearance? Change to Bad Samaritan meta would have been seismic. It's very true. Yeah, I would have had to get rid of one of the most important guesses you can get for Bad Samaritan, which is a name of a special power. And then one of the more kind of fun but not necessarily the best one is, significant appearance. So I am glad that they kept that. So technically for Bad Samaritan, nothing has actually changed, which is really nice. So a game we haven't played much on the podcast recently. Might see it more, who knows. But the Heroclix guessing game where we give out clues and whatnot on Bad Sam is still fully intact, which is nice. So I do like that.
All right. Next up, Matt Reed says, do you think that the changes are overall good or bad? No matter how you answer this, you're wrong and everyone will hate your opinion. Something.
Probably opinion. Probably
yeah.
meant opinion.
Added a T.
Yeah. For the most part, I like the changes. For the most part. We obviously got pretty heated for some bits here during this episode, and we were like, man, I don't like this, I don't like that.
I'm fine with the rules.
The parts I don't like,
it's the reason they chose the rules. That's the reason I'm mad. I'm mad because the reason they chose, not because of what they chose.
I'm just gonna let that one marinate for a little bit. We're gonna sit on that funny little Simeon.
The Muppet version of Simeon.
Muppet Simeon.
Overall, I'm gonna say this is an overall lateral move. I don't think this is enough good or bad.
Okay.
I think it's enough different. But once again, like Heroclix is adapting, it's changing, it's becoming something new. But it's not like Wonder Woman 80th. At first, when I was looking at it, I was like, bad. Started playing it, overall good. Clicks 2017, like the Thor stuff, that was instantly like good. They made so much.
Oh, quality of life changes were huge.
So much junk PAC stuff instantly usable.
It was so weird because 2017. I wasn't on Facebook as much back then, but I knew of a lot of people that left because of the Thor changes.
That's wild.
Which is, wild to me because I was like, man, all those changes were great.
Oh, it was
fine by me.
I had so much, I hadn't been playing for a super long time, but I had so many questions constantly because, remember, Prob was like, your roll's your turn, my roll's my turn.
Yeah.
Something like that. So it was you could prob blades, you could prob all kinds of wonky, and then they just simplified
Super
it.
Senses roll.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They simplified it so much, and
people hated that.
Mind control,
blades.
not doing feedback damage, yada yada. Wonder Woman 80th got rid of pushing damage.
Yeah.
Made generic theme teams, which was great.
That was awesome.
Wonder Woman did a lot of stuff, but mostly I think getting rid of pushing damage is now the lasting effect. It further simplified certain powers. This is more of a lateral move though, where it's making the map shorter and it's adjusting powers to fit that smaller map. So it's making the map a 2x2, and then a lot of the powers are getting adjusted because of that.
Yeah.
So am I happy or sad that Perplex is now minimum 4 instead of minimum 6, and TK? Well, it doesn't really matter because it's just adjusted to the map size.
Yeah.
So that's not really it is a change, but it's not like a change. It's more so this is what will work going forward. And then most of the other changes I will say are good, as far as the PAC goes.
I love the change of super strength. Quake, Pulse Wave, all that stuff is
super strength
really
being relevant again. Quake being a
really
utility
strong,
heavy power.
Man. Yeah.
If I have 2 people with Quake on my team, it way overweighs your 2 barrier pieces.
Yeah.
I'll be able to overwhelm you way easier than blasting single barrier chunks at a time.
No.
Yeah. I think like really my only gripe is that one thing with like the theme team prob. Yeah, the flavor text. Like, I'll miss it, but like
I can live without it.
Yeah, I'll play. Like I won't lose sleep at night because I didn't get to read flavor text while playing. Like a lot of times I never even glanced at it for like commons, uncommons, rares. It's really only my favorite characters that I looked at, or maybe somebody would notice something and I'd look at it. But I don't think that's the biggest loss. And I think in time, like I don't even think theme team probs are a big loss. Again, like my biggest gripe about that is the reasons why, not so much the fact that it is being changed. Because I think at the end of the day, people will just adapt and play prop control on team, which that's how it has to be. And if you don't get on the boat, then you get left behind, as old Noah Sacrimonious III used to say.
Yeah,
I think that was
is that his name?
Yeah,
Batman the third.
Yeah,
okay,
Batman Will. Yeah, that was it's a
deep cut.
Good boat builder from the Tick comic.
Was he now? Oh. Was he?
No.
Interesting.
Also had Earthbound neutralized, believe it or not. Not Dolphin symbol.
Most of the time, I believe that. He was not much of a flyer, that guy. Like
somebody
you would have thought.
that water right out from under him, even if he did have Dolphin, though. So
goodness gracious.
Wouldn't have mattered.
So, yeah. I think overall, me and Simeon are in agreement that we like the changes. Because most of them are just like because of the map size changing. I love the terrain changes, though. I love the new terrain stuff. That's really cool. So it's already a lot of fun to play with. So, yeah, absolutely. And that is basically all we have for the show, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to check out the Dial H for Heroclix Facebook page. You'll get updates on whenever a podcast is uploaded, as well as the Twitter. You'll be able to see when we upload a podcast there as well. If you want to see things like we share the links to the articles on both of those pages, make sure to go like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff over on our YouTube channel. You can check out those International Player Fund IPF videos. Check out Andrea's Worlds interview. We're slowly getting more Worlds content out, which I'm very excited for, as well as we're going to start ramping up a lot of video production and things coming up here in February. So be on the lookout. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube. Hit that little bell, notification button and all that fun stuff like every YouTuber ever says. But seriously, do all that stuff. It super helps us out. We really, really like it. It helps fuel engagement, helps other people see our videos. And that's another big thing. If you have a local venue and you're like, man, these guys are funny, or hey, their videos are cool, make sure word of mouth is huge as well. This is a tight-knit community and we love everybody in it. So make sure you tell all your locals, like, hey, you should check out the Dial H for Heroclix guys on YouTube. They're pretty cool and they do unboxings sometimes, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you guys for supporting us, however you support us. And of course, horse is a horse. Of course. The only place that you can buy a Heroclix horse. Not at all what I was getting at.
Oh.
Now you're getting to where I'm.
You can always get miniatures online, as you may know. And you know what? Some miniatures are great. Heroclix miniatures. Those are the kinds I like. I also like D&D ones, but where else you can get D&D ones? Or Heroclix ones. It's coolstuffinc.com. They don't only have Avengers Forever. They've got Batman Team Up, and soon, yes, very soon, they'll have Spider-Man Beyond Spider-Mazing, the Spidering of the Spiders working title. So they will have that set at some point. But like always, you can get it for 5% off if you use code DIAL5. And they also have special offers every week, most every day. Heroclix included. So check them out. Get free shipping on any order of $100 or more. And like I said, use code DIAL5 to make sure you save as much as you can on those orders. But check them out at coolstuffinc.com.
Happy trails.
So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional
Heroclix?
help.
Are you serious? Again? How many people even play this game? Like 100?
Instant deadpan humor.
Over 6 people think I am funny.
It's a hard day's work. Not that you know anything about that. Which,
You absolute fools, it's not.
Witcher nonsense.
I'm gonna make Heroclix like that forever. Are you kidding me?
Hey Google, attack someone.
Let's attack Simeon because he's a jerk.
Do you just not know the readout anymore?
I-
at all? Did you ever
I
know the
try and wing it.
readout? I know you. I can tell you try and wing it. But man.